Big got in that studio and said, I don't know why this nigga Snoop's calling me. I'm not telling this nigga where I'm at. That's something that sounds good for the media.
According to insider information from Biggie's ex-bodyguard Gene Deal, the rapper actually had a pretty tight relationship with different rappers. But one of the most surprising in the bunch is the one he had with Snoop Dogg. As it turns out, Snoop Dogg was never actually as close to Biggie as he had us believe. Well, that's just a nice way to put it because according to the reports, he never actually liked Biggie. That's Rig. Gene Deal, who served as Biggie's bodyguard and was always by his side, has decided to speak up after all these years to correct some misconceptions and set the record straight. Through his close proximity to Biggie, Deal was privy to all of his relationships and wants to share his perspective. Despite claims from Snoop Dogg that he and Biggie were close, even going so far as to say he chose Biggie over Tupac during their controversial feud, Deal wants to provide his own insights on the matter. When asked about his decision, Snoop had this to say.
So as far as me to respect Puffy and Biggie at that moment, that's what it was about. I respected their music. They sounded good, it felt good, and they were friends of mine.
According to him, he and Biggie were close friends and often hung out together whenever he visited Diddy's house. Additionally, he had the opportunity to perform on stage with Biggie.
There's footage of me, Biggie, and Tupac on stage rapping in California.
Maybe at one point, it's possible the two might have actually been close.
Hung out with Biggie in New York at the studio. He played the song for me, the one on his record, the one dreaming of Learjets and mansions and coupes and trying to sell records like Snoop. Oops.
During that period, Biggie seemed to hold a great deal of respect for Snoop if he was sharing his music and mentioning his name in his song.
He played that record for me before he passed away in the studio, and then he was in the other studio with Premier working on the 10 Crack Commandments. He had 3 rooms popping at one time. I was in there with her.
It's evident that the two had a strong connection at some point. However, relationships can deteriorate and trust can be broken as quickly as it is formed.
And Pac had Biggie with him, and we was just on stage rapping and shit, and everybody was freestyling. Warren G, Biggie, Pac, and myself. This is 93, when we all cool, we all chilling.
Gene Deal believes that Snoop Dogg's claim of being close to Biggie was just a media stunt to maintain relevance and project a positive image of himself as a close friend of the late rapper. According to Gene, Snoop never really cared about Biggie as much as he pretended to.
That's propaganda for the media, bruh. That's something that sounds good for the media.
He revealed that it was all a facade by Snoop to come out looking good and to show people he was tight with Big. In his words, I'm the peacemaker. I'm the one that's showing love. I'm the one that's out here when everybody else is dead, wishing that I could have did something to put the shit together. It wasn't all that love until Pac was dead. Gene reveals that during Biggie's lifetime, he and Snoop Dogg were not really that close. Even if they were once close, they drifted apart and were not on friendly terms when Biggie passed away. If they were truly as close as Snoop claims, they would have spent time together, but Biggie never showed interest in hanging out with Snoop and even ignored his attempts to link up with him.
What picture you see with Snoop and Big while they was out there? Where did they get together and smoke? Big like to smoke, Snoop like to smoke.
The media often captures every moment of these rappers' lives, so it's curious that there's little evidence of Snoop Dogg and Biggie constantly hanging out, as Snoop likes to claim.
Big got in that studio and said, I don't know why this nigga Snoop's calling me. I'm not telling this nigga where I'm at.
It turns out that Biggie openly expressed his distrust of Snoop Dogg, and he didn't try to conceal his dislike for him. Whenever Snoop wanted to meet up, Biggie was irritated and would subsequently ignore his phone calls. This behavior is not typical of a best friend, is it?
So is that your man pots and pants? Y'all don't go get a burger? Y'all don't smoke no weed?
Gene says this proves beyond all doubt that the two weren't close in any way.
But it was a whole lot of love? Come on, man. Shit just don't add up.
It seems unlikely that Biggie and Snoop were on good terms if they were in the same city for weeks but never met up. According to Gene, Biggie was actively avoiding Snoop and shutting him out. This suggests that Snoop's claims of a close friendship with Biggie were fabricated for the media.
Big is saying, this dude is trying to get in touch with me. This dude's trying to find out where we going and what we doing.
The question remains, why did Biggie dislike Snoop so much? It's clear that something must have happened between them, given Biggie's avoidance of Snoop's calls and attempts to meet up. Gene suggests that Biggie resented Snoop for trying to maintain friendships with both Biggie and Tupac, even after their falling out due to the shooting incident. Tupac and Biggie used to have a strong bond, spending time together and performing on stage. They helped each other grow as individuals and artists. However, their relationship became strained when Tupac was shot outside a recording studio. Tupac lost his faith in Biggie, who was inside the building at the time of the shooting, and believed he may have been involved. Despite surviving the attack, Tupac suspected that Biggie had a role in it. Even though they met right after the incident, Tupac claimed that Biggie and his crew looked guilty and surprised. According to an excerpt from Vice, Puffy claimed that they showed Tupac nothing but love and concern. Snoop Dogg then revealed that they were all close to each other before Tupac's shooting.
We all chilling.
Right.
We on the West Coast. Tupac brought Biggie with him. We rocking. We let Cub get down with us. We go in the back, smoke, chill, hang out. It's beautiful.
The shooting incident had a profound impact on Tupac's mental state, causing him to lose trust in his friends and believe that they had betrayed him. However, it later became clear that Biggie had nothing to do with the shooting.
And later information came out that the people that he thought did it had nothing to do with it.
So by him accusing people of it, it kind of set things off.
As the rivalry between Tupac and Biggie escalated, Snoop Dogg found himself in a difficult position. He wanted to remain neutral and maintain his friendship with both rappers, but Tupac and Biggie had different expectations. Tupac was angry with Snoop for not cutting ties with Biggie and for failing to stand up against him.
Before he got killed. So we ended on a kind of foul note because he felt like I didn't stay down with him.
Snoop Dogg's refusal to take sides led to the loss of both Tupac and Biggie's friendships. However, Snoop did not have the full support of either rapper as a result. Gene has revealed that despite Snoop's claims, Biggie did not view their friendship in the same way. Biggie likely felt betrayed by Tupac's accusations of attempted murder, and Snoop's unwillingness to stand by him or fully cut ties with Tupac may have exacerbated the situation. Despite Snoop's claim in an interview that he and Biggie cleared up any misunderstandings when they met in Atlanta, it seems that the damage to their friendship had already been done. Specifically, he said, "It's just me and him, one-on-one," Snoop Dogg recalled. "And he giving me the rundown about how much he loved Tupac and he didn't want to see us die. And a lot of shit that he said and did, he was wrong for. He just was apologizing like a man to me, just getting an understanding on what he did, cause I never tripped on him for what he did. That was a dog pound video, that wasn't a Tupac video. And we got shot at, and the direct shot came from him. That nobody got hit, so we let it go. So with him apologizing to me, we became friends again." According to Gene, Snoop's claim that Biggie apologized to him for their involvement in the Tupac controversy is another falsehood he is spreading to enhance his public image. It is evident that Snoop Dogg's attempt to maintain friendships with both rappers backfired, and he lost the respect of both Biggie and Tupac as a result. His current efforts to present himself as friends with Biggie may be viewed as disingenuous by those who knew the truth. Biggie had no regard for someone who could not take a stand. Reddit fans of the rapper shared their thoughts on this complex situation. One user wrote that attempting to play both sides was a treacherous act, making diss songs with Tupac and then hanging out with Biggie right after. That's straight up sneak material, so yeah, I believe Tupac had every right to cut ties with him. According to popular opinion, Tupac and Biggie's decision to sever ties with Snoop Dogg was reasonable given his selfish behavior in trying to appease both parties. A Reddit user commented, stating that Snoop's actions were manipulative and aimed at his personal gain, because he felt that since he had went to Snoop's murder case and sided with him, he purposely jeopardized his friendship with Dre because of how much he FW Snoop. And then when Snoop didn't do the same for the Biggie beef, he saw it as betrayal, and now Snoop was playing both sides. Remember, Snoop also escalated the East West beef at Soul Train Awards and dissed New York on his track New York, New York. Furthermore, if Snoop's claims of hanging out with Biggie were true, Biggie's bodyguard who was constantly with him would have certainly known about it. However, it seems that Snoop was lying and Biggie had no interest in being associated with him. That's it from today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.